Something snapped inside Ohio State that night. A team built to chase a title fell apart under bright lights, and the scoreboard told a story nobody wanted to believe. 24-14. Fans didn't leave angry. They left speechless. That loss didn't just end a season. It broke the illusion that this team was untouchable. Inside the locker room, silence said more than any speech could. Coaches looked frozen, players looked lost, and the confidence that carried them all year was gone in seconds. This wasn't just a bad night. It felt like the start of something bigger cracking inside the program. Everyone could feel it, even if no one said it out loud. And that's when things really started moving. The kind of movement that happens behind closed doors. Phone calls, decisions, exits. The loss wasn't the end of the story. It was the trigger. What came next would shake the Buckeyes locker room even harder than the loss itself. Don't forget to subscribe to Redone Report for more powerful NFL stories. Right after that game, the real shock didn't come from the outside. It came from inside the building. Players were not talking about next year or running it back. They were talking to agents, checking options, and watching their names pop up in the transfer portal. One by one, important pieces started leaving, and it felt less like normal turnover and more like a quiet breakup in slow motion. Coaches tried to keep the message strong and public, but the numbers told the truth. Key depth was gone, young talent was walking away before it ever fully hit the field, and the roster that once looked stacked now had clear holes all over it. For a program that sells stability and power every year, this kind of movement sent a bad signal to everyone paying attention. And this was the scary part for Ohio State fans. It did not feel like the end of a cycle, it felt like the start of a reset. The locker room needed new leaders, the defense needed new answers, and the staff needed someone who could stop the bleeding. That is when one new name from the portal stepped into the picture and changed the tone of everything. Then out of nowhere, one player walked in and the whole energy around the team shifted. Earl Little Jr. did not come in like a normal transfer. He came in like a statement. A proven defensive back from Florida State, battle-tested in real games, choosing Ohio State right after that ugly finish. In a week full of exits, this was the first move that actually felt like a win. His tape shows why the staff moved so fast. He tackles in space, plays the ball with confidence, and does not shy away from big moments. This is not a project player. This is someone who can step on the field right away and help fix a secondary that folded at the worst possible time. For a defense that already carried a lot of weight last season, adding a guy like this sends a clear message. They are not planning to step back. Inside the building, it gave the locker room something it badly needed after that loss. Proof that good players still want to come here. Guys in that secondary know they are not alone, and coaches now have another reliable piece to lean on. The defense is starting to look settled again, but while that side gains help, a different problem is growing on offense, and it starts in the quarterback room. On paper, Ohio State should feel calm about its starter. Julian Sion just put up one of the best seasons a Buckeyes quarterback has had in a long time. He completed a huge chunk of his throws, piled up well over 3,000 passing yards, and finished with far more touchdowns than interceptions. He looks steady, confident, and completely in control of the offense. As long as he is on the field, there is no debate about who runs this team. The problem starts the moment you look behind him. Lincoln Kienholz is gone to the portal, and that exit left a real gap on the depth chart. In a long season, with a tough schedule and playoff pressure, no smart program wants to gamble with an empty backup spot. One awkward hit, one bad landing, and suddenly you are asking the next man up to save the year. Right now, that safety net is thin, and the staff knows it. That is why the coaches have been looking hard at Justin Martin. He has bounced through UCLA and Maryland, seen only a small number of live snaps. But his numbers are clean. Most of his passes completed, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a little bit of rushing mixed in. He is not coming in to take Sion's job. He is coming in to keep the whole season from collapsing if something goes wrong. And while the staff tries to fix that depth at quarterback, another quiet problem is waiting on the other side of the ball, the kicking game. This is the part of the team nobody wants to talk about until it costs a season. Ohio State walked out of this year without its trusted kicker and without the backup behind him. Jaden Fielding is done. Jackson Corville hit the portal, And all of a sudden, the Buckeyes are staring at a depth chart with question marks where calm used to be. For a program that expects to play in tight playoff games, that is not a small issue. That is a warning sign. Now, every kick matters. The staff is looking at Illinois transfer David Alano and high school prospect Jacobo Echevarria, hoping one of them can walk in and handle real pressure right away. This is not about hitting easy kicks and warm-ups. This is about walking into a loud stadium, season on the line, and drilling the kick when everybody in the country is watching. Ohio State cannot afford another year where fans hold their breath every time the field goal unit runs out. One miss in November or January can flip a whole story from comeback win to heartbreak loss. That is why this search at kicker feels so tense inside the building. They need a closer, not a project. And while the staff is trying to solve this hidden problem on special teams, the roster is taking even bigger hits somewhere else, as key playmakers start walking out the door completely. The scariest moment for any fan base is not the loss, it is the day real names start walking out. That is what hit Ohio State next. Tight end Jelani Thurman did not just change schools, he went to North Carolina to play under Bill Belichick. That move turned heads fast. When a young weapon like that walks away from Columbus to join a legend somewhere else, it sends a loud message about how unstable things feel inside. Then came the noise around Caleb Downs, one of the best players on the roster, now looking at the NFL and thinking about the next step. Nobody can blame him for chasing that dream, but for Ohio State, the thought of losing a star like that on a defense that already carries so much pressure is a gut punch. You do not just replace that type of talent and leadership in one offseason, no matter how good your recruiting class looks on paper. Put it all together and the picture is rough. It is not just backups leaving, it is core pieces, future leaders, and difference makers. The kind of players you build game plans around. Every exit makes the margin for error smaller next season. And while the roster keeps shifting, one question keeps getting louder inside and outside the program. How much of this comes back to the man running everything on the sideline? At some point, every finger in Columbus started pointing at Ryan Day. The transfer exits, the slow offense, the missed chance on the biggest stage, it all came back to the man on the sideline. In big games, the attack looks stiff and safe, not like a unit built around a star quarterback and top receivers. Fans were not asking if he works hard. They were asking if he is trying to do too much and holding the offense back. Day is trying to run the whole program and call plays at the same time, and it shows. When he is deep in the play sheet, the game management slips. When he tries to manage the clock in the locker room, the offense loses rhythm. Tempo drops, calls get predictable, and you can almost feel the other defense sitting on routes they know are coming. The worst part is that this only seems to happen when the lights are brightest, which is exactly when Ohio State is supposed to look sharpest. People inside and outside the building know the pattern now. When Day has a strong offensive coordinator who owns the play calling, the Buckeyes look fast, creative, and fearless. When he tries to carry both roles, the whole thing tightens up. That is why the next move on the headset is bigger than any single recruit or transfer. One right hire on offense could change everything, and there is one name out there that could flip this story in a single offseason. There is one name that instantly changes the way people talk about Ohio State, and it is Brian Daboll. This is the coach who helped turn Buffalo into a real threat and who has worked in big-time spots at the college and NFL level. If he walks into Columbus, it is not a normal hire. It is a signal that Ohio State is done playing safe with its offense and is ready to go all in again. Daboll's strength is simple. He builds his playbook around the players he has, not the other way around. Give him a quarterback like Julian Sain and top receivers, and he will spread the field, push the tempo, and make defenses guess on every snap. With Daboll calling plays and Ryan Day focused on running the whole program, you suddenly get the best version of both. One runs the operation, the other attacks the scoreboard. That is why this decision feels so heavy. Keep things the same and you risk watching another season die in a big game where the offense freezes up. Make a bold move for a play caller like Daboll, and you give this roster the structure and spark it has been missing. If Ohio State really believes its window is still open, this is the kind of move that proves it. Blessings to all my Red Zone Report subscribers family. Your support means everything. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and I catch you in the next one.